This is the golden rule. Let's talk about it. We don't gotta walk around it. Your Bluetooth, the new tennis shoe. We finding new balance. Faith, family, and talents. How we find God around it. Each y'all got the ox now. This your favorite channel. What we on Faith Talk? This a good space to talk. We gon' cross every road if we got a jaywalk. What we on sports now? No, this ain't sports center, but ever since Acock, the boy had the sport in him. Man of the house now. What we talking family ties? My dogs won't talk to me. Surely I'm a family guy. You can bring the conversation to me, get it analyzed. Men lie, women lie, the truth should be baptized. Whatever you put into this world is what you getting back. So while you listening in your car, try and sit with that. While you listening in the gym, try and lift the mat. This is podcasting cool. Welcome to the Golden Rule. It's golden, baby.
Yo, what's happening, man? What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? I got a special one for y'all, man. Y'all already know this is the Golden Rule Podcast, episode 3. It's your boy E. Shaw. The podcast about all things and topics that like-minded people discuss. Man, I got a special one. This one is near and dear to my heart. A group of people here, man, that I have as my guests today are my blood sisters that obviously I grew up with and who helped raise me, man. So we got Alicia Johnson, we got Shameeka Johnson, and we got Verkisie Shaw. We also got Takesia Johnson coming as well, but she's going to join us a little bit later here. Let me go ahead and bring them to the forefront, man. We're going to discuss, again, as I've mentioned, with the reels that we posted, man. We're going to be discussing our family dynamic. We're going to be discussing childhood. We're going to touch on some topics here about, some of the past, that we went through in our past and our lives and how love brought us through all of this, man. So let me get these special ladies on here. Again, this Verkisie Shaw, my little sister, the youngest. We got Takesia, the middle. Takesia Johnson. We got Shameeka Johnson, the oldest, and we got Alicia Johnson, the next. I guess she's my older sister. She's next to me. So let me introduce them now. Let me get them on here, man. Ladies, what's happening?
Hello.
Man, look, the top left corner is Verkisie. That's the little one. We got Alicia Johnson right there in the bottom left corner, and we got Shameeka Johnson top right. And Takesia Johnson will be joining soon, man. So what's going on, ladies? How y'all doing, sisters?
And I just want to let you know it's big keys, not the little one.
Jeez. There she go. There she go, man. Hey, I like to welcome y'all to the show, man. This is having us. Man, we gonna have fun. Some of us might cry, but this is I know this is gonna be therapy for me. It's gonna be a lot of stuff I don't know about, a lot of stuff that I've had questions about. So I'm excited to get started on this. A lot of people that are tuning in are excited to get into this. So why don't y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves, man? We're gonna go ahead and start with the oldest. We're gonna go ahead and start with my baby, Shameeka. Go ahead, man. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Meeka Johnson Alexander.
Hello.
I still carry the Johnson though. And I'm the oldest of the bunch.
Okay. Meeka, we're gonna discuss later, but Meeka, like I said, she's the oldest, and she is kind of like, to me personally, she's like my mother in some ways, and we're gonna discuss that later on in the podcast, man. So Meeka, glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Alicia, I'm sorry. Alicia Johnson, go ahead and introduce yourself, sis.
I'll go. I'm Alicia Johnson. I am the third child, so I'm actually the middle, 2 older, 2 younger. I'm dead in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and they call me Lily. So hey y'all.
Right on. All right, and last but not least, Verkisie. I ain't gonna call you your nickname because I don't know if you want me to put you out there like that. But go ahead.
Well, I put my own stuff out there. But I'm Verkisie, but I go by Puddin'. When my grandma mad at me, or Put. I am the baby, but everybody think I'm the oldest.
Girl.
I say what they ain't gonna say.
Right.
You did.
Right. All right. Anybody got anything they want to talk about or say before we start? Because we're gonna jump right into it. The people they've been waiting patiently, so they want to see they want to hear what's going on.
I just said, as to piggyback what you said earlier about Mika, yeah, Mika is like our mama because you know she definitely raised us, and every time Mika would move, we was right on there.
Right on. Right on.
Mika never really whooped us though, but
never. She didn't whoop her own kids. She definitely didn't whoop us.
Yeah. Well, I beg to differ, but we'll get into that.
Plenty of butt whoopings.
Right on.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so, though.
Yeah.
That boy was terrible.
Yes, Lord.
Man. We're gonna jump right into it, but before I do, again, Takesia Johnson will be joining here shortly. And I want to go ahead and also I want to say this too. I do have 2 other sisters on my daddy side, Toya Scott and then Alicia Shaw. So those are my blood sisters as well, but I love them, equally. So I don't want nobody to think that, hey, where they at, but the reality is that we came up on mama's side the most, and that's who I spent my childhood with. So that's what this discussion is about. But we love them equally. And also I want to put a disclaimer out there that this is not a bashing session. We're not trying to bash anybody or belittle anybody or anything like that. This is simply 4 relatives having a discussion about what they seen, what they went through, and how what they went through didn't define who they became ultimately as adults. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there as well. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. Let's get it. First, I want to say, we're gonna start with y'all childhoods, Mika, Lily. Again, me and Verkisie, we're the youngest, so we came into the picture a lot later than you 3 did. So we're gonna start off with Mika and Lily, man. Y'all give us a kind of an idea of how y'all childhood was with our mother, our grandmama, and the family, back then. So how was y'all childhood when y'all was coming up?
Growing up was we were spoiled in a sense at some point. I remember having the best Christmases ever. I do remember that. I do remember grandma being at grandma's house, spending my time at grandma's house was probably the funnest because everybody lived in the neighborhood. Grandma, before she became richly in the church, she used to let me have like birthday parties and like friends over. I remember grandma, everybody that I brought home at some point lived with us. So I could bring somebody that I met at school to my grandma's house and say, Grandma, they ain't got no food, or they don't have nowhere to stay, and grandma let them move in. So we had this 3-bedroom house, and we had like every room was full of people. So I remember grandma taking in everybody in the neighborhood, feeding everybody. And she worked at the post office overnight. So I just remember having a good time, when we were at grandma's house.
Now, for the folks who may not know, I'm sorry to cut y'all, but for the folks who may not know, you talking about Grandma Elise, right?
Talking about Grandma Elise.
and that's my baby, my angel. Yes. And you also are talking about the house on Larkspur, right?
On Larkspur in Woodman Park. Yes.
Hello. Okay.
Party house.
All right. Disclaimer. I didn't get this, Grandma.
Right. So that was a question. Yeah. I was gonna ask you a question about that. Like,
oh yeah, she was
coming up. Like,
she's fun, Grandma. You got the. I ain't gonna tell everybody, but you got the
BC Grandma. We had the BC Grandma. Y'all got the AC Grandma.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The DC grandma was a whole nother beast.
Man.
Yes,
Wow.
Lord. Yes,
Wow.
Lord. Yes,
Now,
Lord.
now, Mika, was grandma's mother alive when you was born?
Yes. She passed away around.
I was 5. I think I was
Lily
5.
was a baby then, but I do remember going to her house. I remember how she looked. I remember she was really, really short and really sweet, like sweet and beautiful, and had like the prettiest, thinnest, long hair. She's like a little Indian. And I remember going to her house. At one point, she stayed in this really big house in Reedsville behind the Armory. And it was kind of scary. But they had played cards there, and she had a house full of people. So she had card games and all that stuff there. But I remember going to her house, and I remember Gerald and Chuck used to scare us. They used to lift their eyelids up because you ever seen the movie called The Birds? It looked like the house on the Birds. Like she actually had birds flying around upstairs. Like one of the rooms didn't have no roof, no ceiling. It was crazy.
Oh,
but I remember going to her house, and she cooked. She got up early in the morning and cooked, breakfast. And I remember little bits and pieces of great grandma. She was real sweet, but she carried a gun, like they had card games. She'd have a little gun on the table or whatever. And grandma used to do that too. Them women kept guns around, like they kept their little pistols.
So it was like that.
It was like that. It was like that.
Wow.
Strong woman.
I miss her.
Yeah, she was sweet as pie. Sweet as pie. Yeah.
Okay. Lee?
So, like Mika said, when you are young, your memories, either they're there or they're not there. And some things come to you. I remember having this conversation with Mom, and it's amazing to me what I can remember and being so young. Right. And I'm actually grateful for that, because I have very fond memories of my great grandmother. Which one would think that I shouldn't, because I was very young, but I mean, like down to like the tiniest details. I remember I used to have this onesie. It was a one piece with like giraffes on it. It was white and it had zebras and giraffes, like pictures of animals. And I see myself clearly going to a yellow house. It was a yellow house. And I remember the house Mika talking about. And what's so crazy is that house was green, right, Mika? That green. Bigger house was green. But when I remember when grandma moved into a smaller house, like it was a smaller house, it was a yellow house. And I don't know how long she had been there. But when you walk in the house, I'm not going to say it was a shotgun house, but when you walk in the house, it was like a ditch in the front of it. And when you walk in the house, the living room was there. And then it was a bedroom to the left. And then you go straight and there was a kitchen. And way to the back of the house was where Dooney, rest in peace, one of our family members used to live, and her room was red. But the thing I remember most about grandma was when I would come in the house, I was greeted with such love from Granddaddy Coop, which was grandmother's counterpart at the time. And he would pick me up all the time, be like, "Hey, monkey." He would call me monkey. And he would literally sit me on his knee and bounce me on his knee. He would just bounce me. And as an adult, I can smell him. He smelled like cigarettes.
Camel.
All the time. He smelled like cigarettes. And as an adult, like I literally can smell him. Like I can hear his voice as clear as day. I can smell him. I can see grandma. She would come give me the biggest kiss. I could smell her. And at this particular time, I think grandma used to wear a wig, maybe because it was like a short, like curlier wig. It's the same wig that she has in a picture with her and her children that I have a picture of in my phone. And the next memory that I have of her, outside of, like Mika said, she was really sweet, like really warm, could cook. Because I remember eating her food, like I still can taste it. The next memory I have of her is I remember when the phone call came in and we rushed over there to grandma's house. And I remember coming in the house just as I always did as a child. And I remember seeing her on the floor. She had fell. And I remember Grandma Elise running to her. And I want to say Mama kind of filled in the gaps of my memory with that. I think Mama might have said like the day after or a couple days later is that's when we lost our grandma. But I remember vividly walking in the house and seeing her on the floor. She had fell off the bed. She slept in that front room to the left. They had her in that front room to the left. So that memory stays with me about grandma. But like rewind to the house Mika talking about, one of the memories that also stays with me is that I was really little and I was coming up some concrete steps, and the way it was a swing set outside, me and Kiki was out there playing. I ran up the steps, and Grandma, you know how when you pull a doorknob off and it's a hole left? I looked through it with one eye and a bumblebee stung me in my eye.
Wow.
So those are the kind of memories that I have about grandma, seeing her, watching her cook, and definitely fond memories of Grandma Elise, BC. I say BC before Christ. I mean, she always had Christ in her life, but grandma was definitely not in the church as strong as she has been for most of her life. So back then it was,
fun, grandma.
And y'all got to witness that. That's
it was card parties and hanging out with the neighbors, which became my best friends, and it was fun. Grandma was still strict though. She always been strict.
You bet your life she was.
Yeah. So those are kind of my memories, especially with our great grandmother, who I miss dearly. Like I really remember, very, very fond memories of her for sure.
Yeah. Man, that's how was the the family dynamic? And I think Miko, you may have touched on it, but how was the family dynamic in those days?
Family dynamics. Grandma was the glue. I remember grandma being the glue. I remember the siblings, like we're close, thank God. But I remember Mama and her siblings not being so close.
And Darlese's own.
Yeah, not being so close. So it wasn't really like close knit.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't really like close knit like we are. Just a lot.
And you talking about Mama and her sisters? You talking about Mama? Okay.
Yeah, and her siblings. It wasn't really like they weren't really all that close.
Right.
Like we are. But grandma, like I say, grandma was the glue. Right. That kind of kept everybody. She ain't take no mess back then. So it was, it was just, a lot of bouncing around. For me, being that I'm the oldest, I remember just kind of like bouncing around, between different places, different houses, just kind of bouncing around between different places.
Yeah,
wasn't really like a stable at one point, or at some points it wasn't really like stable. And I do remember that.
And I'm sure Lee, before I move to this next key point, what's your take on that, Lily? How was about the family dynamic in those days, in those earlier days?
I'm definitely gonna have to agree with a lot of what Mika said. And my recollection of back then, Mama was an island to me. And island, I mean, everybody knows the definition of an island. I don't think that she was close with her siblings at all. Um, Grandmother was definitely the glue, and because we spent a lot of time at grandma's house, there was different times of my childhood that I can recall. We were, staying with grandma. And like Mika said, that came with a lot of bouncing around too, whether that be from mom moving a lot. I think I might have went to some odd 5 or 6 different elementary schools. So whether that came with mom moving a lot, from us bouncing around, or, being placed from here to there, but grandma house was a constant. So we would see our aunts and uncles because when we were there, when we were fixtured actually in grandma house, living with grandma. But outside of that, there was never any like camaraderie or visits, or, from them at mom's house, where, if mom had, wherever we were at mom's house living with mom, they weren't really close. Now the dynamics across the family, as a unit, as a whole, and there was love there, but there wasn't like a closeness, like, you know what I mean? And I think a part of that has kind of, carried on, if you will.
Sure. So, it's very, man, I appreciate, again, thank y'all, man, because it's very interesting that we're discussing this, because see, people got to understand and keep in mind, y'all, that we talking about probably from 75 to 80. Well, no, 75 to 85 is 1975 to 1985 is what we're covering. So again, me and Put wasn't even we wasn't even around when in the time frame that they're talking about.
We weren't even a thought.
Right. But I gotta mention that because what Lily and Mika are discussing and saying that they experienced as kids, what they seen, me and Put seen something totally different. So y'all got like as far as the family dynamic is concerned. So it's very pivotal that y'all understand that, because, and again, we're not we're just telling our experience. And Lily, Kiki, and Mika's experience was way different than me and Put's. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind. How was it, Lily and Mika? How was it watching Mama grow into? How was it watching Mama grow on all levels into womanhood, physically, mentally, emotionally? Because again, Mama was young. Mama was what? 16 when she had you? 17?
Yeah, 17. Yeah, 17. She was young. I recall when we lived in Reedsville, I probably was about 4 or about 5, like right around the time with my dad's mom. I recall bits and pieces of I was with my dad's mom probably more than I was with mom, because my dad's mom lived right across the street from mama. So I used to get up when I was a little baby and run across the street to my grandma's house. So I remember, I recall little bits and pieces of being with her. I recall Duke Street is where we lived in Reedsville, Duke Street. So I recall bits and pieces, not a lot, with mom when she was younger. I just remember just moving around. I don't even remember her and my dad being together. I don't even remember. I don't remember seeing my daddy when I was younger. Like when
they were married, right?
Yeah, for a little bit. But I just remember him coming to my grandfather's house when we used to go visit granddaddy. I remember daddy coming around sometimes, but I don't really remember him and mama being together.
Granddaddy Horace, you mean?
Yeah, when we used to go to granddaddy house. I don't have a lot of memories sad to say, like I don't have a whole lot of memories with mama. Like Smith Homes, I do. And I probably was about, I want to say 8 or 9. We lived in Smith Homes. And I do remember coming home from school or coming home and mama used to play either Prince or Whitney Houston. She had this stereo set. She always kept a really, really nice apartment. She always kept a really nice place, always kept food galore. We had plenty of food. But I just remember like coming in the house and she have her music playing, and I go to my room, and then when I go to my room and put down what I got to put down, and I'm going outside playing with the kids, you know, around Smith Homes. I just remember like little bits and pieces of mama. I don't really remember a lot of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? With mom.
Yeah. And that's again, that's I can understand exactly what you're saying. That's an important piece that I got out of that, Mika. Well, before I move forward to that, Lily.
So of course, Mika a lot older than me, so she would have seen mama grow. By the time I came into the picture, you know, mama was a little older. She was still young though. So it's crazy because like Mika, a lot of the memories that I have to mom correlates to music. Mom loved music. Like, I can remember coming in the house from school and, you know, music is playing, mama cleaning up or doing whatever. I also know that she loved to have her head scratched anytime she wanted her head scratched. You know, it's get that comb, come scratch my scalp, you know. So you know, but other than that, mama was raising kids, you know, even when y'all came along, you know, she was raising kids, you know, we didn't do a whole lot. Mama really wasn't a traveler, which I don't understand because
she wasn't.
Because I am, you know, so I don't understand how you didn't have that, but you know, whatever. So mama really wasn't a traveler, so she was a homebody to me. She was always home when we were with mama. She was always home until she, you know, wasn't. There was times when she used to party a lot, you know, in Atlanta. But I don't, like Mika said, I don't, you know, that we didn't really do trips or anything like that. So the memories I have of mama is being home on the phone.
Right.
We didn't really get on her nerves too much. So it wasn't a whole lot of discipline there. Not because she wasn't a disciplinarian, it just wasn't needed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I understand exactly what you're saying.
So
we didn't get into much trouble.
Right.
But I don't remember like sit down conversations with mama. You know, like when we were kids, like we talk to her more now. We have conversations with her more now than I don't remember her having sit downs with us, like telling us about the birds and the bees, or you know how to avoid this man or how to do this. So we didn't get those things from our mother. I got those things from my aunt or either my friends in the street. So I kind of learned from other people. I kind of learned I learned certain things from other people. Like my aunt Charlene, she used to kind of give me like little tidbits of information, like don't do this, keep your credit good, you know. But I never really got a sit down from my mama. Like, you know, and this is what I'm gonna explain to you. I'm gonna explain to you how to, you know, so that I didn't receive. You know, mama wasn't really I'm not gonna say she wasn't really affectionate, but she wasn't. And that's not her fault, because I think, you know, affection is kind of like something that you actually that you get from, you know, it's kind of passed on.
It's
so she wasn't really one of those mothers that was like affectionate. I don't remember hugs. I don't really remember kisses. I don't really remember you know, I don't remember none of that from, you know, and that's just a part of, I guess that's going to get into, you know, that'll take us to where we're going next.
Yeah.
So
it's very important things that you just said, because they will. We're gonna touch on those later on in the conversation. One thing I want to ask one more question, and then we're gonna probably dive into another time frame, so to speak. But how was y'all relationship? And this is something that I've always wanted to know, because I never knew this. How was y'all relationships with Bobby, OG Bobby Johnson?
Disclaimer. Let them know that Alicia got the same daddy, and me and man got the same daddy.
Yeah, right. My daddy was we had a good relationship with my daddy. He just wasn't really he wasn't there. We spent most, like when we went to Reedsville, it was my granddaddy. Now, granted, my daddy, I remember him coming over with his girlfriend. He was dating a girl, and we really loved her, but because she was real sweet. She used to take us to get ice cream and stuff. We had a good relationship with daddy, but my granddaddy was daddy. Like at the time, my granddaddy, the one that, you know, took us shopping and spent the money on us and got us ice cream. And, you know, my granddaddy was like, daddy just came and visited us at granddaddy's house, or maybe picked us up and rode us around. But daddy, that's all daddy did at that time. Granddaddy was daddy.
Right.
But we loved our daddy, but daddy just wasn't really as active as he should have been at that time.
Lee?
Yeah.
My experience of my daddy is kind of the same as Mika, but a little different, right? Like, of course, here's the thing, like, life is twofold, right? To me, like, you process things as a child, and then you begin to process things as an adult when you have a better understanding of what things is going on, the way things happen, right? So I give both of my parents grace, because I know as an adult why those things happen, right? So I give both of them grace. But the way that I experienced my dad back then was as any child would experience their parent, right? You giddy, you happy, that's your father or your mother. So, like, of course, every time you see them, your world lights up. Right. But even with that, there was a sense of absence. You know what I mean? He was very absent. He wasn't present. He lived with my grandfather for a period of time, which is why I think we were able to see him when we did see him, because of course there was coming in to get clothes, change clothes, or grab a bike, because he had this yellow bike that he used to always be on. So when we were at our grandfather's house, I can remember going into my dad's room and talking to him as he was getting dressed. My daddy was sharp now, so I would admire him and the way that he put that shit on, you know what I mean? So I would admire him, like, he clean and he would talk, you know, he would talk to me, because I would always go in his room when I knew he was there. But outside of that, there's not a lot of memories with my daddy. Like Shameeka said, my granddaddy was present. My granddaddy, you know, although absent from saying the word "I love you" or giving you hugs, I knew he loved me because he showed it through actions. You know what I mean? So, but for my father, my childhood, he was absent. There was no connection there, other than the fact that I knew that was my dad, and I loved him because that was my dad, and there was some admiration there because that was my dad, but there wasn't really like no connection like that, like to where, you know, like it should be between a father and a daughter.
Right. How did that affect y'all? That lack of a relationship with your father as women.
I'm gonna take that first. For me, I know how it has showed up in my life. I feel like for a long time before you come into your awareness, your self-discovery, and before you start going through things that helps you learn and grow, I think that I found myself in certain dynamics where I felt like I'm trying to prove my worth to whereas you could say to a man, but I also think that has showed up in numerous aspects of my life, not just in relational, right? Like relationships. I think that when you grow up absent of parents, it makes you feel like you're not good enough, or you got to prove yourself, or you got to work that much harder for someone's affection because there's lack of it, or there was a lack of it. So I feel like it has showed up in my life with that. And I also feel like, you you got daddy issues, some issues that I've had to work out, in my adulthood that I had to come to terms with and try to heal that part of me. That's still a work in progress, because sometimes I can, experience certain things where I have to reflect and be like, hey, I wonder if that comes from that, whether that be childhood wounds or, abandonment issues is what I like to refer that to. I feel like a lot of deep rooted stuff comes from feeling abandoned as a child by a parent, so that is how it has affected me. But overall, you push through those things and you learn from them. You get the help that you need, whether it's counseling or shadow work or what have you, and you push through it. You push through it in life, and you hold no grudges, you hold no animosity, because again, I say, for me, I recognize what took place back then for them, and it allows me to be able to give my parents grace.
Okay, Meek, go ahead. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'm kind of piggybacking on her. I think for me, my decision making, especially in the beginning of my, teenage years, because I am a young mother. I had a child early. I had my kids early. So I think that my decision making, my mental, I always felt like something was mentally wrong with me. Nobody knows that. And I say that because I have not made good decisions or good choices, especially like when it comes to men. It was like making the same mistake over and over, giving too much leeway, too many what's the word I'm looking for? Chances. So I think that not having my father, and I ain't gonna blame it totally on him, but just having a dad plays a part in, because a dad shows you kind of like, he's supposed to kind of be there to kind of show you how a man's supposed to treat a woman, or So we didn't have that. I didn't have that. So that's what I kind of missed out on in the beginning. Now, towards the end, towards later on in life, like I say, my grandfather was good, but grandfather, he wasn't teaching us about that. He spoiled us. He taught us about how to break a man. Like he did his part of spoiling us. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I missed, or what we missed.
And shout out to Granddaddy Bobby, even though he wasn't my biological granddaddy, but he always acted like he was our granddaddy.
You talking about Granddaddy Horace?
Granddaddy Horace.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Hey, rest in peace to
Rest
Granddad.
in peace, Grandpa.
I call him Granddad Horace. Granddad Horace, because man, he treated me like I was one of his when he was
One of
around
his
too.
own. Yep.
For sure. So for sure, shout
Great
out to him.
man. Great man.
Great,
For
great.
sure. Yeah, I asked that to y'all about y'all father, because obviously again, y'all dealt with my pops in a certain way, a certain perspective. So I wanted to make sure that we touch based on y'all's relationship with y'all pops, and I know that it had an effect on y'all differently, and part of the reason why I believe we're so strong as siblings is due to how I look at y'all as women. So I just wanted to give the people an idea of the effects and outcomes that had on y'all as well, man. So I appreciate y'all for sharing that with us. Man, we gonna go ahead. Kiki's asking about the joint here in a little bit, y'all. So y'all stay with us. We're gonna go ahead and move into kind of when me and Put came into the picture. So we about to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing here, right? So before obviously we talking about when we were born. Do y'all remember when Mama met Daddy? Like, do y'all remember when he came into the picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember. Yeah.
Don't and one thing. Hold on, Put. Don't don't sugarcoat nothing. That is pops. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, we this is for me, this is therapy. So like I need y'all. This is about y'all. Like, this is about y'all. So like however y'all felt. Because we going somewhere with this. So go ahead, Put.
No, I was just saying, I think they met at Daddy's sister funeral, right?
You was there.
This is what that was told now.
She talking about what she was told. I think.
Or Granddaddy met. He knew Granddaddy first, and Granddaddy said he was gonna introduce. But I think they met at a funeral.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
I can't even remember where they met at. I just remember when he showed up.
Mama said yes. Mom, where y'all meet at?
Hold on. She said yes.
Okay. So yeah.
Mama chimed in. Man, oh Lord.
Mm-hmm.
She said yes. So she met Daddy through Aunt Laura's.
Okay.
Oh, we should have known. Okay. All right. So y'all tell me about touch on that. Yeah, touch on that. Touch on y'all's experience with Daddy and how y'all experienced with Mama through that time. And what it was like, when we were born.
I remember your daddy used to golf a lot. I remember him golfing a lot. He was a cool dude. I remember Mama used to cook. I remember coming home. I think coming home from school, coming home from somewhere. Mama used to like cook these meals that I'm talking about. He had to have his food cooked a certain way, like his spaghetti, his chicken. I remember my favorite dish that she used to cook was the chicken and gravy. Like she used to fry the chicken up and she'll bake some gravy for it and put it in the pot. And then she had the mashed potatoes and stuff. So I remember her kind of like serving him, basically, cooking his dinner, serving him. He had to have everything like a certain way, like spaghetti. Most people when they cook spaghetti, they mix the whole pot together. Well, he didn't like his spaghetti mixed. He had to have the noodles and then the sauce and then the cornbread. So I remember that. I remember like Mama kind of like, serving him his food and cooking for him. And I remember loud sometimes. I do remember
that. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
First of all, Mama cooking.
Yeah, Mama used to cook. Now, Mama cooked all the time. She cooked because he had to have meals.
She didn't with your daddy. It wasn't. She didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So she
it was a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I ain't know, mom. Okay. Lily, what you want to touch on that?
Similar. I mean, high level, similar to Mika. I remember your daddy was initially cool. This is like you said about when y'all were younger, much younger. Cool, worked hard, always been a hard worker. I remember him, definitely providing. There wasn't any lack. Whether that came from mama or him, we didn't see lack at that time. Cool initially, and like Mika said, I definitely remember one thing about Eddie. He was matter of fact, very matter of fact back then. Like I said, with the whole food thing, she didn't really have a choice. She had to cook because I remember him, basically saying like, "What's for dinner? What's to eat?" Like Eddie didn't play. He wanted his supper.
Right.
He wanted his dinner. He wanted his dinner, and like Mika, it's crazy because I remember the same thing. Like he always wanted his spaghetti. Must have been his favorite because we were definitely gonna have spaghetti once, if not twice a week, because that was his thing, and he wanted it a certain way. But there was other things that he wanted. But I remember him being real particular, definitely about that spaghetti. So. Yeah, but other than that, initially, that's when y'all were younger. He used to dress y'all to the 9. I remember that.
To the T. Yeah.
To the 9. I mean, y'all had head to toe jabot all the time.
Right. I might need y'all to help me with my time frames a little bit because I think I start vividly remembering like recollections of y'all when I was about maybe 3. And y'all will tell it better than me. But I just remember like terrorizing. I do remember that when I used to throw y'all, like when I used to just do all kinds of crazy stuff to y'all, man. These are the earliest recollections of y'all and in our many houses that we lived in. So
you were horrible.
Yes.
You were, to keep it plain and simple and sweet, you were the worst child ever. Like, I mean, and I tell people this all the time. It's so crazy how much I adore and respect and admire you, because back then I wasn't even sure if I liked you. Like, because you were a menace.
Oh my gosh, yo.
There was really nothing, you know what I mean? Like, outside of you being my brother, like, you were terrible. Like, bro, like, you couldn't be trusted, because the minute somebody turned their head, you was hitting somebody with a golf club. Or so it was hard to trust you, because you would do something devious, like really devious, not like high level devious, or he was just a baby. No, like it was like, okay, if I turn my head, I might get hit upside the head with a steel golf club, like real steel. Like, so it was hard to trust you, and you were bad. You was just bad, but you were spoiled. Like, like mama spoiled you, your daddy spoiled you. You was the only boy in the house, so you were all boys. So you was just like, you was a terrorizer.
Man.
Yeah.
Me
used to chase us. I mean, we were literally scared sometimes. Like, scared.
Yes, we were scared to go to sleep. Like, I would come home from school and all of my clothes, I had the upstairs bedroom. So a house that we lived in, we called it the Barbie doll house. So I had an upstairs bedroom. So I would come home and all my clothes and shoes was outside. You had threw everything out the window. Like, you threw all our clothes out the window, our shoes, everything from the dresser, you throw it out the window. Like sleeping, shoot, we were scared to sleep because we didn't know if you was gonna hit. You know, you used to get legally all the time though. Like all the time, you would hit me with something like glass. Like when you had glass, we literally be like trembling because we didn't know if you was gonna hit us or not. You was off the chain. We did not like you as a child. It's just amazing how you have just grown, and you know we close now. But when you was a child, you got away, and your daddy let you get away with it. Like he would
with
laugh.
everything.
Yeah, he would laugh like when we tell him, man, hit us, or he just be laughing like he thought it was funny because you hit somebody. You was hitting. He would even have you hitting your mama.
Wow.
Yeah, like you would hit mama. Like he would tell you to hit mama. You might hit mama with something, and he thought that was cool.
He did.
Yeah, he thought that was cool.
I'm gonna tell y'all. I believe you. You know why? Because I'm getting it right now. I'm getting it tenfold.
Hey, you should have a mark on your leg still to prove it.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. I got the burn mark. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, I got it. I was just telling Candace about that the other day.
Like you terrorized us so bad, and it was me specifically. Like, I mean, you used to do it to Mika and Kiki too, but it would just seem like you were always like, I don't know, like I used to be like, oh my God, like this little boy, like who, like, so like you was messing with me one day in the back seat. We in the back seat of the car. They was in Food Line on Market Street. I'll never forget it. And you wouldn't leave me alone, man. I pushed that deliberately, like deliberate. I pushed the lighter in and waited till it popped out. And when it popped out, I stuck it right on your leg.
I remember that. I told Candace the exact story, bro. I remember that.
I did.
I also remember real quick. I remember when I think Daddy used to work out of town a lot. This what I can remember. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but he used to work out of town. Did Mama work third shift at some point? She had to leave work to go to work at night.
I think she did I think she did. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stay with me because I remember when I used to be sleeping in Mama's bed, and I would hear Mama go, "All right, she'll come in there, Mama." And this is the experiences that we had versus y'all. Mama used to come kiss me goodnight, and I remember I would be watching a movie or something like that, and then I hear Mama go, "Good night, y'all." Then she be talking to y'all. "All right, I'll see y'all later, y'all. Y'all take care of everything. All right, now bye." And I hear that door close. Right? Here y'all come. Here go you, Kiki, and Mika. Yo, I would see the door open, and I knew what time it was, man. The door will open. Here go Mika. Smother time. Hey, y'all would come in there and smother me, yo, but like I can't stand him. Get him, Mika, hold his legs. Kiki, get him. What? But y'all and y'all knew I was frightened, bro. That was my trauma right there. That was my trauma, yo.
He hated to be smothered. You hated it.
Either that or y'all will put me in the closet and keep me in there. And this is all like I'm supposed to be asleep. I remember that, yo. I know y'all remember it too. So don't.
I do.
I'm so glad you're not traumatized as an adult. I'm so glad you didn't. That didn't, cause you to have no mental issue.
Nah, it close. I thought I was claustrophobic for a minute till I started playing ball, but that's
yeah.
I remember that, man. I remember that.
It happened.
What do so we know that Mama went through some stuff in the relationship with Pops. We're gonna skip past that. But what do y'all remember when Put came into the picture? Because I can tell y'all what I remember when she came in the picture.
She cried.
What do y'all? Yeah. What do y'all distinctly remember about Put?
I remember her being a little hollering baby.
A hollering baby, a hollering mess.
Yes.
A bald head hollering mess.
Right.
But I got that long hair now.
Foot was her name.
Now you do, yeah. But Lord, back then, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember. Man, we lived in. I do remember when we lived in the baby doll house or the Barbie doll house. I remember that. I don't remember Hook Street. I don't remember Hook Street. Really, truly, I don't remember no houses other than
the baby doll house.
Yeah, that's the only house I remember.
Yeah.
I remember they had a birthday party for me, and I drove around the corner in my fire truck. Wasn't that the Barbie doll house?
Yeah.
And Put was in the passion side. She may have been like 6 or 7 months, and I turned that corner board with them 2 wheels like that, and Put fell out the fire truck. I remember that. That's about the only thing I remember about that, man. So, dang, Kiki right here. Hey, I'm about to go ahead and bring Kiki in here, y'all. Takesia Johnson. That's my other sister. Kiki, what's up?
Hey,
Key.
Hey, girl.
Y'all can't hear.
Can you hear us now?
It's really, really low.
Hit the buttons on the side of your phone.
Hold on.
Handle your business.
She had the same issue last night. She'll fix it.
Yeah. So y'all welcome to Takesia Johnson, bottom right hand corner. Kiki, we're gonna introduce you here very, very, very shortly. We in the midst of the conversation. So look, we at the point now, guys, where it's about 88, 89. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong as well, but this is right around the time where some things happen, and let's just say, for lack of better terms, me and Put we had a little hiatus for a few years. We're gonna agree to say that. This is a very Huh?
I would just can't keep it real.
Well, we are keeping it real. We're gonna keep it real, but we're gonna respect everybody's we're gonna have respect for everybody. But we got a little time period where me and Put we took a little hiatus, and this is a very important time period because y'all, I wanted to know, and I've never known this before. I know I've asked y'all in the past, but I don't think I've ever got clarity about it. But can y'all tell me what was Mama's mindset when this happened? What was y'all's mindset? And what was the family's mindset during this period when it happened? If y'all can just let me know when it happened. What was y'all mindset? What was the family's mindset? What was Mama's mindset when me and Put took that hiatus that obviously we didn't have no control over?
I remember Mama being out her mind.
Yeah.
Extremely. I remember Mama being out her mind, like extremely scared, like I think all of the emotions that a mom is supposed to feel is, two of her kids are no longer in her life. And I remember she had no clue where y'all were at. At one point, at a time period in that. And I remember her being out her mind. Like I remember her crying uncontrollably. I remember us crying. I remember crying, because it was just kind of like hysteria, like, because there was no answers at the time. There was a period of time where there was no, communication about where y'all were, what happened, I almost want to say it was days, right, Mika?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like days. Like this wasn't just like hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember it being like, Mama being out her mind, like completely. I remember Grandma coming over and Grandma was out her mind. Like I said, everybody was out their mind. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I remember that being like a very horrible moments, because it wasn't just a short period of time.
Yeah.
Right. And just to let everybody know, just to let the viewers know who are watching, me me and Put got. We was gone for 3 years. Wait,
Mama said
4
years.
4 years. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know it was that long. Okay, so yeah, we was literally we didn't see Mama, Lily, Kiki, and Mika, none of that side of the family for 4 years. So this was a huge gap. A lot changed, and that's exactly what I want to cover. A lot changed in that time period. I can tell y'all, Put has no clue. She had no clue. But I can tell y'all from I think I was like 3 or 4. I remember, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. I remember the exact day when everything happened. In fact, we was at grandma's house when do y'all know we was at grandma's house when
I think so. Yeah.
When, you know what I'm saying, when Pops came and collected us, so to speak. And I don't know why. I don't know why, but I just remember that at the time, grandma's back room had nothing in it. Like I think they were just starting to make it a room. Or so I can remember, because I remember clothes being all over the place. And we was just playing. And man, I just remember grandma was in the kitchen doing something. I think she may have been cooking or something like that. You know, grandma used to have that long gown on. When she had that gown on, she probably was cooking. Right. So I just remember her having that on. And then somebody else was there, but I really don't remember. I just know you know, we was in the back playing or something like that. And then I just remember Daddy coming in, and he was like, you know, again, I'm 3 or 4 at the moment, so I don't really remember what he said, but I just remember him grabbing a bag, going up front, grabbing the bag, and I hear grandma in the background saying something. Then I hear Daddy coming in with the bag, putting all our clothes in the bag. Put was a baby, so she couldn't have been no more than maybe 1 or so.
18 months.
Yeah, she was 18 months. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, so I just remember him getting everything